General Charles Bradley laughed. "Women can't fly fighter jets," he said, smirking to the men around him. But 20 minutes later, that same man would stand frozen, his face pale, realizing the truth. The person flying the F-22 Raptor, shooting down enemy jets one after another, was the coffee girl he had ignored for years. Her name was Amanda Ghost Collins. She was 28 years old, with brown hair always tied in a simple ponytail, and sharp green eyes that noticed everything, but revealed nothing. For 3 years, Amanda worked at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, not as a pilot, not as an officer, but as an administrative assistant. Every morning at 6 a.m., she arrived carrying coffee for the pilots. She filed their paperwork, answered phones, cleaned briefing rooms, and quietly moved through her day. The fighter pilots barely looked at her. In their world of roaring engines, million-dollar aircraft, and high-stakes missions, Amanda was just background noise. To them, she was nobody. But the truth was, Amanda Collins had been born into aviation royalty. Her father was Colonel James Phantom Collins, one of the most decorated F-22 Raptor pilots in U.S. Air Force history. Before his death on a classified mission over Syria, Amanda's father had personally trained her in everything, from basic aerodynamics to advanced aerial combat maneuvers. Every weekend of her childhood was spent at small airfields, learning to fly planes most kids only saw in books. From small Cessnas to powerful military trainers, she learned them all. And while the pilots at Nellis joked about women being too emotional for combat flying, Amanda had more real flight hours in military aircraft than half of them combined. Father's connections had even gotten her secret time in F-16s, and a few rare precious hours in the F-22 Raptor, the most advanced fighter jet in the world. After college, she applied for Air Force pilot training. She should have been accepted immediately. She wasn't. The reason? Political complications. From her father's classified death, doors closed, opportunities vanished, and the only job left for her was serving coffee to the very men who should have been her squadron. And no one made her feel that sting more than General Charles Bradley. At 52, with silver hair and a chest full of medals, Bradley commanded the 422nd Fighter Squadron. He was an old-school, 1950s mindset kind of officer. In his mind, fighter aviation was a man's world, period. He had blocked female pilot applications, made jokes about women in combat, and proudly displayed a sign in his office that read, "Real pilots don't need GPS, they navigate by instinct." Every morning when Amanda brought him coffee, he would barely look at her. If he spoke at all, it was with a condescending smile, reminding her, in his own words, that women were better suited for support roles. Amanda never argued. She knew her skill didn't need defending with words. She was waiting for the day she could prove it in the sky. That day came sooner than anyone expected. On the morning of November 15th, Amanda walked into the briefing room carrying coffee and donuts for the pilots. It was supposed to be a routine training day, just a practice exercise in the Nevada desert with simulated enemy aircraft. The men chatted casually. Captain Reynolds grinned as he took his coffee without looking up. "Perfect flying weather today," he said. "The Navy boys won't know what hit M." General Bradley stood at the front, pointing to a tactical map. "Gentlemen, today's exercise simulates a defensive operation. Enemy aircraft will try to enter our airspace. Your job is to intercept and neutralize them before they reach the protected zone." Amanda quietly moved between the rows, refilling cups and picking up empty plates. She didn't look like she was paying attention, but she heard every word, every detail, every coordinate dot, and then the alarms began to scream. Red lights flashed across the base. A voice over the intercom said words that froze everyone in place. "All personnel, this is not a drill. Multiple unidentified aircraft approaching from the southeast. Estimated time to base: 15 minutes. The room exploded into movement. Pilots ran for their gear. Ground crews raced across the tarmac, but within minutes, disaster struck. Not from the sky, but from last night's dinner. Several pilots collapsed with food poisoning from an off-base restaurant. One after another, the squadron's strength fell apart. In the end, they had 6 F-22s ready, and only 3 healthy pilots. Bradley's face went pale. "We can't cover all vectors," his chief of flight operations told him. "We need at least 5 aircraft up there, sir. The boogies are coming in from multiple angles." The general stared at the radar screen, read enemy blips closing in. His voice rose in frustration. "Where are we supposed to find more pilots? We can't just grab someone off the street. Women can't fly fighter jets. This isn't some video game." The room went silent. Amanda set down the coffee pot, stepped forward, and spoke in a calm, steady voice. "General Bradley, I can fly." The room froze. Every head turned toward Amanda, some with disbelief, others with barely concealed amusement. General Bradley's brow furrowed. "Excuse me." Amanda's voice didn't waver. "I said, I can fly the F-2 to Raptor, and I can help defend this base." A ripple of laughter rolled through the pilots. It wasn't friendly laughter, it was mocking, the kind that stings. One pilot smirked. "What are you gonna do, Amanda? Throw coffee at them?" Bradley crossed his arms. "Ma'am, this is a $150 million aircraft we're talking about. It's not a simulator, it's not a toy. You don't just try flying one because we're short-staffed." Amanda took a step closer, her eyes locked on his. "Colonel James Phantom Collins was my father. He flew 3 tours in Iraq, 2 in Afghanistan, and has 47 confirmed air-to-air kills. He trained me personally. I have more than 800 hours of actual flight time, not in civilian planes, but in F-16s and F-22 Raptors." The room went dead silent. Master Sergeant Thompson's head snapped toward her. "James Collins. Phantom Collins." Amanda nodded once. "Yes, Sergeant." Thompson looked at Bradley, his voice urgent now. "Sir, Phantom Collins was a legend. If she's telling the truth, and I believe she is, she might be the only one here who can get that 4th bird in the air." Bradley still hesitated. His pride was at war with the reality of the situation. The radar operator broke the silence. "Sir, bogies are now 10 minutes out. They're descending fast, 35,000 feet, and closing. We need all available aircraft now." Amanda didn't wait for more debate. She walked to the equipment locker, unzipping her jacket and pulling on a flight suit with the ease of someone who had done it hundreds of times. Her movements were fluid, practiced, not the fumbling of a rookie. Bradley stared, still reluctant. "If you go up there and make a mistake, then I die trying to protect this base," Amanda cut in sharply. "But if I stay here, and you're 3 jets short, maybe all of us die. Your choice, General." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Bradley exhaled through his nose, hard. "Fine, get her a helmet. Thompson, prep Raptor 4. Thompson grinned. "Yes, sir." As Amanda jogged toward the hangar, mechanics and ground crew stared in shock. Some whispered her father's name, others shook their heads in disbelief. Inside the hangar, the silver-gray F-22 Raptor waited, its sleek body catching the light. Amanda ran her hand along the fuselage, just like her father had taught her. "Always greet your aircraft, it's your partner in the fight." Climbing into the cockpit felt like coming home. The familiar smell of heated electronics and jet fuel surrounded her. She strapped in, adjusted her oxygen mask, and began the pre-flight checklist by heart dot in the tower. Bradley's voice came through the comms. "Ghost Falcon. That's your call sign for this sortie. You are cleared for takeoff." Amanda's hands gripped the throttle. Her voice was calm. "Copy that, tower. Ghost Falcon rolling." The Raptor surged forward, afterburners igniting with a roar that shook the hangar doors. Dust swirled in her wake as the jet raced down the runway, and then she was airborne. The Nevada desert stretched endlessly below, the sun glaring off Amanda's canopy. She climbed to 40,000 feet, radar sweeping the sky ahead. The contacts appeared, 6 fast-moving blips, closing in at incredible speed. But the moment she saw their radar signatures, she knew something was wrong. "Tower, this is Ghost Falcon. These aren't the Navy's FA-18s, no friendly signatures." Recommend you treat them as hostile. In the tower, Bradley's jaw clenched. If Amanda was right, this wasn't just an exercise anymore. It was a real incursion into US airspace. Amanda's mind shifted gears instantly. No more waiting. No more proving herself. Now, it was survival. She climbed higher, using the F-22's stealth to vanish from enemy radar. At 45,000 feet, she looped over into a dive, the sun at her back. Her father's voice echoed. In her head, attack from where they least expect you. Make your first strike count. Her first AMRAAM missile locked on Fox 3, the missile streaked away, invisible death closing on its target. Seconds later, a fireball splashed one. The remaining 5 aircraft scattered in panic. They weren't expecting a predator in the sky today. Ghost Falcon. You've got 2 bandits on your 6. The radar operator warned. Amanda smirked. Copy, tower. Dad always said, the best defense is to make the other guy too dead to shoot. She slammed the stick forward, pulling the Raptor into a brutal high-G maneuver that would have knocked most pilots unconscious. The nose swung around in a tight arc, and suddenly she was behind her pursuers. Fox 3. The second jet exploded before the pilot even knew he was targeted. Splash 2. The enemy tried to regroup, flying in pairs, but Amanda thought in 3 dimensions, rolling, climbing, diving in unpredictable patterns. 1 pair broke left. Amanda followed, forcing them into a turn tighter than their airframes could handle. Her guns lit up short, controlled bursts. Guns, 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 splash. 3. The other pair made the mistake of going high, thinking altitude would save them. Amanda went higher still, disappearing into the glare before dropping in on them like a hawk dot, to more missiles, to more kills. Splash 4, splash 5. Only 1 enemy remained, and he was heading straight for Nellis Air Force Base. Amanda dropped to low altitude, skimming the desert floor so close that dust trailed behind her wings. The GI forces pressed her into the seat as she pushed the Raptor to supersonic speed. Closing in from below, she got tone lock. Fox 3, the missile launched. A flash, a burst of smoke, and the last red dot vanished from the radar screen. Splash 6. All hostiles destroyed. The tower went silent. Then Master Sergeant Thompson's voice came through, awed and almost disbelieving. Ghost Falcon. Outstanding work. Base is secure. Return to land. Amanda's reply carried a hint of humor. Copy, tower. And tell the general his coffee's getting cold. 20 minutes later, the F-22 Raptor rolled to a stop on the Nellis flight line. The twin engines whined down, the canopy lifted, and the desert sun poured into the cockpit. Amanda removed her helmet. Her brown hair was damp with sweat, green eyes still sharp with the focus of combat. Every pilot, mechanic, and officer who could make it to the tarmac was standing there, silent. No cheering, no clapping. Just stunned faces, staring at the woman who had just single-handedly saved an entire Air Force base. Through the crowd, General Bradley walked forward slowly, stiffly, like a man carrying the weight of something heavier than any metal. His face was pale, his hands trembled ever so slightly. When he reached the aircraft, he looked up at her. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Bradley removed his cap and raised his hand in a salute. The general, who never saluted anyone below him in rank, was saluting the coffee girl. Ma'am, his voice carried across the flight line. I owe you an apology. I owe this base an apology. And I owe your father's memory the respect I should have given from the start. Amanda climbed down from the jet. Her boots touched the tarmac, and for the first time she stood eye to eye with the man who had doubted her more than anyone. General, all I ever wanted was the chance to serve, just like my father taught me. Bradley's jaw tightened. He turned to the crowd, his voice loud enough for every ear. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Amanda Collins, effective immediately, the newest pilot of the 422nd Fighter Squadron. The crowd erupted in cheers, but Amanda raised her hand, asking for silence. Sir, I appreciate the offer, but before I accept, I need to know, will you judge me by my performance in the cockpit, or by the assumptions you made when I was pouring coffee. The general didn't hesitate. Captain Collins, after what I witnessed today, I'll judge you the same way your father would have, as one of the finest pilots I've ever seen. 3 months later, Amanda was a flight instructor, teaching air-to-air combat tactics to new recruits. The old sign in Bradley's office, "Real pilots don't need GPS," had been replaced with a new one. Real pilots prove themselves in the sky, not in the briefing room. And every morning at 0600, when rookie pilots came for training, they found their coffee ready, served not by some invisible staffer, but by combat veterans who understood this truth. Respect is earned through action, not assumption. Amanda never forgot the look on General Bradley's face the moment he realized the truth. That the coffee girl was the most dangerous pilot on his base. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Sometimes, the people we overlook the most are the ones capable of saving us all.